In this installment, we're going to be breaking down Week 15 Saturday Slate on DraftKings, giving you the top plays and top stacks for this very small mini Saturday Slate here, but it's going to be very important. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Saturday night. It's not even a showdown slate. It's a full 3-game slate we got going on for DraftKings, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. That's what you're looking at right now. If you want more DFS betting and fantasy football advice, all that is in those links down below. We killed it for Thursday. I posted it everywhere. I posted on Patreon, Instagram, YouTube. We were all over the San Francisco 49ers. They clinched that division. They won, and they had the money line easily and covered that -3, which I gave out as well. So, guys, if you want to, don't miss out on these picks, man. The DFS came through as well. I loved Christian McCaffrey. I love George Kittle. I had him in that captain area. All these other guys were solid plays as well to fit in your lineups to go with that as well. So, guys, sign up for that Patreon. Do not miss out. Let's move on to this breakdown of the Saturday night slate. All right, we're going to start out with just a little bit of breakdown of the totals on each and every one of these games, and then we're going to get into the quarterback position, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. We'll go position by position there. So, if we're looking at these over and unders, the juiciness is going to be in the first game. Colts versus the Vikings at 47.5. We've seen the Vikings struggle, stop opposing offenses, and obviously the Vikings are good enough to put up a ton of points. They have an allotment of weapons on their side of the football. Kirk Cousins at home at 1 o'clock. All those things factor in for the Minnesota Vikings to put up a bunch of points, and the Colts obviously are going to be in a scenario where they can put up a fight like they did similarly against the Dallas Cowboys, but then they got blown out in that second half. The other game that's going to be sneaky here is going to be that Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills in division matchup that has some upside to score more than 44 points there. We have the high octane offense of the Buffalo Bills, and we have the duo here with Tua Tagovailoa. I think he bounces back in this game with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That third game, this one's ugly, all right? You trying to find where to pick and choose. There are avenues. We're going to get into that when we get into that positional breakdown. But this one could be a very ugly game here with Deshaun Watson against Huntley in this particular matchup. So let's go over to the quarterback position and let's look at some of the guys we're going to key in on. We're going to start off at the top, Josh Allen against the Miami Dolphins. All right, Josh Allen. Not saying he's having the similar year like he did last year. Some ups and downs here. 17 fantasy points against New England. A shocking 20 against the Jets. We're used to seeing 25 to 30 fantasy points from Josh Allen. We saw 12.58 against Cleveland. So this is an in-division matchup there. Bradley Chubb is going to be trying to get at Josh Allen as well. So I have no problem going towards him in this game. I think he's going to give you a solid floor. The question is going to be the ceiling in this in-division matchup against these Miami Dolphins. If we're looking at fantasy points allowed to that quarterback position here, and we're going to switch this over, and we're going to flip it around. The Miami Dolphins have been pretty poor, all right? So 29 overall, 23rd in the red zone, allowing 258 yards passing. Oh, excuse me. Let me adjust the metrics for the past couple weeks, all right? This is a different team now. Let me adjust that. So, switching it over to week 10. I apologize about that. We're going to go to these Miami Dolphins, and they have improved. Let's see. Improved just a little bit more. I can't seem to find the Miami Dolphins. All right, here. All right, so they're 12th overall, 13th in the red zone. So they have improved. 265 yards passing, 1.2 TDs per game, 0.8 in that interception department. So a little bit of a tougher matchup than what Miami Dolphins was bringing to the table at the beginning of the season. And this is a game where Josh Allen, yes, you can take the defense and put it on the side. Josh Allen at home is usually a beast. So I have no problem going towards him, but do mention he will get a ton of ownership. There are other ways to go. In a small slate, Josh Allen is going to see 70 plus ownership in this type of game environment. And you want to be a little bit contrarian here, but there are other avenues for you to get to the top of these tournaments. So Josh Allen is going to be one of our top plays, but remember, high ownership, there are other ways to get to the top of that mountain, all right? Some other guys we can look at, it can be Tua Tagovailoa, all right? Yes, the Buffalo Bills have a solid defense. If we're looking at have they been playing recently, they've been giving up more yardage, okay? 277 yards per game, 1.4 TDs a game as well. And they're going to have to deal with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, poor game that we saw from him in the previous week against the Chargers. We thought we was going to see a way better performance out of him, but he has upside to definitely take over this small slate, all right? Just before the stretch of San Francisco and Houston, against Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit, 32, 27, and 23, all right? He was looking phenomenal in those type of games, plus the upside of these wide receivers that he has. It equals to a very, very dangerous game that can go back and forth, all right? He's already putting up solid numbers, 22 TDs to 5 interceptions. He's looking pretty efficient. So Tua Tagovailoa is going to be on our second level here that can be super sneaky. That's going to have lower ownership that can possibly compete with Josh Allen. And we're saving salary there as well. Deshaun Watson, I don't like the game environment here in division matchup. He's been playing horribly, all right? Houston, bad. We saw a step up against Cincinnati. Now going against the elite defense here in the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure what we're going to see out of him. We're going to need more production out of his legs. Hopefully he can get in the end zone from him to pay off that salary there. But this is a game environment where we're facing a second string quarterback here in the Baltimore Ravens. Deshaun Watson should take advantage of his situation. There are some plays we're going to get to in this game, but I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be one of them, all right? So we'll move on to the next quarterback. That's going to be Kirk Cousins, all right? And this is the game where it's the highest over-under here, 47.5, and Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock. I love this spot here. Indianapolis Colts have been struggling. They've been giving up a ton of points, as you saw against that Cowboys game. This is another elite team here in the NFC, in the Minnesota Vikings, and I expect the Minnesota Vikings to put their foot on the throat of the Colts, and they're going to put up a lot of yards and a lot of points. This is going to be one of our top options to compete with Josh Allen. I love Kirk Cousins at 6K here. Pairing with, obviously, Justin Jefferson and or Adam Thielen. We can also talk about TJ Hawkinson as we go along. But one of our top cheaper plays at QB, we're going to throw him in here because Josh Allen is pretty obvious. It's going to be Kirk Cousins, okay? Anyone below that, the only guy I will consider, I'm not playing Tyler Huntley. I don't like what I've seen out of him. It's not enough rushing. He would have to go absolutely berserk in that type of game environment. He's not Lamar Jackson, okay? He's not Lamar Jackson. This is an in-division matchup on the road. It's going to be very difficult. We saw how he produced against Pittsburgh, got injured, and he's going to be a little bit hampered, even though he's cleared to play in this game against Cleveland, all right? They know what to expect from him, all right? Matt Ryan is going to be someone we can consider because of the yardage that the Minnesota Vikings are going to give up. If we're looking at fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, Minnesota Vikings are 28th, 4th in the red zone. So bend don't break defense. They're allowing 343 passing yards a game, okay? That goes with Mac Jones. That goes with Mike White. And that can happen with Matt Ryan as well. 1.6 TDs per game. So if we're going bottom of the barrel quarterback, Matt Ryan has the biggest upside with his weapons. And that we're going to get into very soon. So Matt Ryan is going to be our cheapest play, not a love, in the quarterback section of this slate for Saturday. So Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins is right below him. If we're going dumpster diving, it would be Matt Ryan, all right? So let's move on to the running backs. Going to the running back section of this 3-game slate, we're going to talk about and start at the top with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is in a bad spot here going up against the Baltimore Ravens defense. Since acquiring Roquan Smith, they have been on an elite tier right now. If we're looking at fantasy points allowed to running backs, the Baltimore Ravens have been outstanding, okay? 5th overall, 3rd in the red zone, 45.5 yards a game, 2.5 yards a carry. All right, so this is the bread and butter of the Cleveland Browns, using that running game here with Nick Chubb and or Kareem Hunt. 2 games in a row of poor performances, 8 and 8.4. If we're going with the numbers, I think that trend continues. Can he fall in the end zone in a specific scenario where the Cleveland Browns move the ball down the field? Yes, of course he could. But you're paying, this is top dollar here, $7,400. He's not going to be one of our favorite plays because I don't love the matchup 100%, but he will be low owned. So just to mention that type of factor, I think there's better ways we can get some better value at the running back position. Let's go on over to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor at 7,200. He's in a little bit better game script here against the Minnesota Vikings, who are giving up yards receiving, all right? And let's see how they've been doing against the running back. So we're going to go to the Minnesota Vikings, and I believe they've been giving up a decent amount of yardage to running backs as well. And yes, they are 28th overall, 25th in the red zone, 88 yards per game, 3.8 yards a carry, and definitely giving up a touchdown per game. So this equals to, that's going to be a solid game script for Jonathan Taylor. This is the bell cow. He's going to see 20-plus carries along with a handful of receptions and targets as well. So Jonathan Taylor is going to be a guy that I'll look way ahead of Nick Chubb because of the usage on rushing and receiving wise in a better matchup in a higher scoring game. So Jonathan Taylor at 7,200. If I'm paying top dollar, he's going to be a guy we can consider. All right. Next guy will be Dalvin Cook. All right. These Indianapolis Colts have been playing worse run defense against the opposing running backs. Worse than the Vikings here, 29th overall and 29th in the red zone, allowing 115 yards a game and 4.6 yards per carry, 1.8 TD. So Dalvin Cook is in a spot here. If they can get him going, that play action is going to look even better to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, to get the ball to TJ Hawkinson. He's going to be one of our plays that I love at 6,900, under 7K, and he has the ability to give you 20-point fantasy point production and over. So I'm liking Dalvin Cook here in this game script. If we're going cheaper than that, J.K. Dobbins is going to be a guy in this Baltimore run offense, is going to be the way, if they can succeed against this Cleveland Browns defense, that's the way it's going to have to be. If we're looking at the Cleveland Browns, they're bottom tier as well, 27th overall, 16th in the red zone, 127.8 yards a game, 5.6 yards a carry. So here, if we're looking at a game script here for the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to have to be through that run game, all right? J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are their bell cows, all right? Dobbins got 15 carries last week, 120 yards and a touchdown. He looked phenomenal in that game. We can consider him at 5,200. And a little bit cheaper, another guy that's going to get double-digit touches will be Gus Edwards, okay? 13 for 66 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He needs to get in the end zone for him to pay off. He's not seeing much receiving work. It's going to be J.K. Dobbins. It's going to be the receiving back. Gus Edwards is strictly the running guy as well. So we can find some other guys down low. Here, James Cook is going to be one of our punt plays at the running back position. He's competing with Devin Singletary here for touches. He's been getting more and more as the season has gone along. They feel more comfortable with James Cook. And that's even with Nyheim Hines on the offense as well. So Nyheim Hines has fallen back. James Cook has emerged as their rookie running back and number 2 guy, splitting carries with Devin Singletary. That's why I don't like Devin Singletary in this game. I'd rather just go with James Cook, who has more juice and has been improving as the season has gone along. We saw against the New England Patriots where he had 14 for 64 and 6 receptions for 41 yards as well. Tough game environment against the Jets where he only had 4 carries, wasn't efficient, only had 1 catch as well. But if we're choosing one guy and we're thinking about ownership as well, James Cook is going to be super low owned and has upside in this game against the Miami Dolphins here. And we're just going to double check fantasy points allowed to the running back position. And the Miami Dolphins have they been in the middle? No, they've been poor as well. So 25th overall, 21st in the red zone, 71.2 yards a carry, 71.2 yards a game, 4 yards a carry, zero point 0.8 TDs a game. Okay, so you could go with James Cook. He's going to be our punt running back here. If we're looking at any other guys down low here, Deion Jackson is a backup to Jonathan Taylor. Madison is a backup to Dalvin Cook here. But you're going to see the majority of the looks to Dalvin Cook. You would have to get in the end zone. Other than that, it's pretty ugly the further you go down. Let's go on to the wide receivers. For the wide receivers, we're going to continue with the guys we talked about at that quarterback position, and we want to pair with the quarterback with his wide receivers, his number 1 and 2 options. That's going to be what we're going to lean towards. So, Kirk Cousins I have up here already. Justin Jefferson is in a great spot, okay? Justin Jefferson is an elite top-tier wide receiver. It doesn't matter the matchup. He has the upside to give you 30-plus fantasy points as he's done continuously this year. So in this game environment here, let's just triple check here. It's going to be poor. It's going to be poor if we're looking at the numbers here. The Colts are technically top 12. So 12 overall, but 28. So it's just weird. So they're giving up yardage. They're not giving up yardage. They're giving up TDs in that red zone area. So 12th overall, 28th in the red zone. That's going to be where Justin Jefferson can cash in. If he gets, obviously, we want the receptions. He's going to get that. He's going to get double-digit targets. So if you're telling me he's going to get a touchdown, most likely against the 28th ranked red zone defense, then we're going to play Justin Jefferson. No need to get cute in that scenario. So Justin Jefferson, and that goes along with Adam Thielen, who's been seeing consistent targets almost every single week. Against Detroit, 8 targets, 6 targets against the Jets, 10 against New England. Dallas was poor, 7 against Buffalo, 7 against Washington, 7 against Arizona, 8 against Miami. You see what I'm talking about here? Consistent targets, equal opportunity, and we want to take advantage of that. So Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are going to be on our list at that wide receiver position, okay? On the other side of that ball, the Indianapolis Colts, we can look at Michael Pittman here. And this Vikings defense has been giving up a ton of yardage here. So Michael Pittman, we're waiting for a 20-point fantasy game. He can definitely do it, all right? If they're going to give him time to play. Obviously, the Colts are playing with a little bit of moxie here, but gave it up big in that fourth quarter, okay? Gave it up big. So they showed some heart, and then it was just too much. Like I said, I see a similar scenario here against these Colts and the Vikings here. Just too much talent on the other side of the ball. But Pittman can provide some upside here. A lot of inconsistencies during this season. That's with quarterback play and offensive line play, not giving Matt Ryan enough time. But this Minnesota Vikings defense has been giving up a ton of yards. So Michael Pittman is going to be a fine play, and that is going to go along with Alec Pierce, who we can consider at 3,900. He saw a touchdown and saw 8 targets against Dallas, and we can consider Paris Campbell as well. All right, he's more of the slot wide receiver in this offense. He has some juice as well. He's been one of the favorite targets, emerged just a little bit, finally getting a healthy season in his career. We saw some bright spots against the Raiders, against Philly. He's getting a few targets here and there as well. If I had to choose between a secondary option on this offense, I would lean more towards Alec Pierce over Paris Campbell because of the touchdown upside, okay? All right, so we're going to move on to another grouping of wide receivers that we can consider, and that will be Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill at $9,000 in salary. He's probably going to be a higher-owned guy, and he's going to be healthy for this game, despite the fact he had that ankle injury. I'm really just waiting for this Jalen Waddle game. It's going to come. It's going to come, and this is a short slate. All the juice is going to be on Tyreek Hill. And we had 2 bad performances from Jalen Waddle the past 2 weeks against the Chargers and the 49ers here. And Buffalo can be beat in the middle, all right? Tre'Davious White on the outside. Middle is going to be one of the weak points on Buffalo's defense here. And Jalen Waddle, I need it to happen. I need it to happen. I'm wishing it to happen. So we're going to go and lean more towards Jalen Waddle. I continue to do this. I did this on the Thursday night game, and Tyreek got lucky, all right? He got that fumble that went backwards and ran it in for a touchdown. That's why he got his fantasy points that way. But Jalen Waddle here at $7,000 in salary. This is the cheapest. No, it's not the cheapest he's been all year, but he's due. He's really, really due. So I like Jalen Waddle here if I'm choosing between these two guys, between Tyreek Hill and Waddle. We're going to have Waddle in our lineup builds here. And then we're going to go along with the other side of the football here with the Buffalo Bills. All right, Buffalo Bills here. You got Stephon Diggs. You got Gabe Davis. And hey, I continue to say this. Don't fade this man. All right, he's coming off a bad game against the Jets. He's usually super, super consistent. Okay, this man is one of the elite route runners in the game. Stephon Diggs. If you can find a way to put Jefferson and Diggs in your lineups, definitely is a way to go for your lineup builds in this 3-game slate. All right, you want to soak up the guys that's going to get the majority of the targets. If you get the two guys that's going to get 10 plus targets and have a high opportunity to get in the end zone, you're setting yourself up to catch. Okay, just honest opinion. So Stephon Diggs, 8,100, love him there. Gabe Davis is going to be the riskier play here. Has the upside to definitely set himself apart, but he's more of a deep wide receiver, right? He's going to run that go route, and the question is, he's going to come down with it and get in the end zone. That is going to be the question. That's why we've seen 3 games in a row of subpar performances from Gabe Davis, all right? Dolphins D has been playing a little bit better here. Gabe Davis is super, super risky. That's why he's at this current salary of $5,000. Very cheap. The cheapest he's been all year, definitely. So he's in a spot to break out in this game on Saturday, but he does come with a warning, all right? Other guys we can consider. Amari Cooper here at 6,100. If I'm choosing one guy on Cleveland, I'm choosing Amari Cooper. He has huge home road splits, all right? And 7 games away so far, 10.2 fantasy points per game. And in 6 games at home, he's averaging 22 fantasy points, all right? He saw 7 targets last week against Cincinnati. So I'm believing in Deshaun Jackson connecting with his number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper, and he still has juice in his legs. This veteran wide receiver at 6,100 is looking like a sneakier play at the wide receiver position, and the home and road splits can confirm it. So I like Amari Cooper there. And I have another option here for the wide receiver position, and that will be Demarcus Robinson, all right? Demarcus Robinson has been consistent for the Baltimore Ravens as of late. Devin Duvernay is more of a gadget wide receiver. Demarcus Robinson has been getting consistent targets the past couple weeks, and from Tyler Huntley. So if we're choosing someone, a punt play down below $5,000 in salary at that wide receiver position, is going to be Demarcus Robinson. Let's go on to the tight end. For the tight ends, this one looks particularly ugly if we're looking at fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. The best matchup technically, if we're looking at this, we're going to flip it around. The best matchup will be against these Miami Dolphins. It's the first team off the list for those Saturday games here. 23rd overall, 23rd in the red zone, allowing 46.5 yards a game and 0.5 TDs, about 5.5 catches a game to that tight end position. And that means Dawson Knox. So as you can see, opponent rate 30th. He's going to be one of our top plays at that tight end position with all the focus on Diggs and Gabe Davis. Dawson Knox, don't forget, he had a ton of touchdowns last year. I think he's coming on strong at the end of this season, finally getting back healthy. We saw 4-7 and 41 yards and 1 TD against the Jets. And now against Miami, Dawson Knox can continue to a strong finish of this season. So at 3,900, you're not paying up. You're going to need someone a little bit cheaper because we're looking expensive at running back. We're looking expensive at wide receiver. You're going to need a cheaper-ish tight end that's going to be in a high-octane offense. Dawson Knox fits all those markers, all right? Mark Andrews has struggled with Tyler Huntley. I think we can go back to the well to him once Lamar Jackson comes back. Yes, a lot of people are just going to jam him in there. But you gotta remember, this is Tyler Huntley. This is not Lamar Jackson here. So we want to probably fade this ownership here in the ugly game script, and where he's not going to throw the ball that much. Tyler Huntley is more of a run-first type of quarterback. So Mark Andrews, we'll probably look a little bit away from him. TJ Hawkinson on the other side has upside. He's been the number 2 option here in this offense. It's been Justin Jefferson, and then Hawkinson and Adam Thielen have been neck and neck getting these targets in this offense for the Minnesota Vikings. So 8, 6, 6, 9, and 10 the last past 6 weeks. He just hasn't gotten in the end zone on much of a consistent basis here, but he has upside at $5,000 in salary. So if you have that much left in salary, you can kind of maneuver it with your defense there. I have no problem going towards TJ Hawkinson. All right. David Njoku has upside here. He saw 7 receptions, 9 targets. This is a boost for Deshaun Watson. Watson loves throwing to his tight ends, and this athletic freak here in David Njoku, he's going to be our second sneaky play at tight end here. We got Dawson Knox and we got David Njoku. These are the 2 guys I love in this small slate that have huge upside. All right, it was good to see Watson connect with his athletic tight end, 7 for 9 for 59 and a TD. David Njoku even got a rush as well. So as long as he's healthy, he's going to be our second option at tight end. Mike Gesicki is someone we don't really need to consider. He's sharing tight end work with Smythe and Hunter Long and Connor. There's just too crowded there in that tight end position for the Miami Dolphins. So I don't want to go that way. Kyle Granson, as long as he's healthy, he's been the number 1 tight end in this offense over Mo Alley Cox, over rookie Jelani Wood. So if you're really looking for a punt play under $3K, Kylan Granson has some upside there as well. If we continue to go down low, Isaiah Likely has been more involved here just a little bit. We saw some usage in week 11 and week 13. Didn't get anything for week 14. Don't need to go there. This is pretty ugly as we continue to go lower in this tight end section. So the guys we're going to key in on at the tight end position for week 15 in this Saturday slate is going to be number 1, Dawson Knox, and number 2 will be David Njoku. So definitely focusing on those guys. That's going to be the breakdown of the Saturday night slate for week 15 on DraftKings. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter at MessengerSD, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out, guys. Good luck. And don't forget to sign up for that Patreon.